Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been so long since I filmed because my past few videos were all pre-filmed. Today's video is going to be a demo and review of the Moi Tinted Moisturizer with SPF 30 and zinc oxide. I've actually had this for over a month, but I got it in PR by Moi right before the Black Lives Matter protests occurred around the world. And then I had family come and visit with me for 3 weeks. So, my mind just hasn't been in the makeup space and the filming space as well. I've really been focusing on spending time with family. But what that's allowed me to do is really test out this product very thoroughly for the past month. So I have very clear thoughts on it, and I feel like I know it really well at this point. They come in 4 shades, and I have all 4. They're the shades Ivory, Sand, Honey, and Cocoa. They said that they have 4 other shades in development, but that I guess these 4 shades they felt that they had perfected the undertones of, and the other 4 weren't quite ready. I obviously would have preferred for them to just wait and release all 8 at once, because even 8 shades for a complexion range still really isn't good. Now these are not full coverage, so there is a little bit of flex. So if there isn't like a spot on match, I think you still can make it work. But 4 shades just is not enough. I will be comparing the Moi Tinted Moisturizer to the Supergoop CC Cream and the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. The Supergoop CC Cream actually also only has 4 shades, and I compared all 4 of the shades of both products, and I found that the Moi ones have a much wider range. Specifically the darker shade is a lot darker than the Supergoop one. This Supergoop only has fair, light, light medium, and medium. They don't even have a dark shade, so that's ridiculous. But I'm really glad that Moi is expanding this into 8 shades, but I just still don't really feel like 8 shades is enough anyways. However, these are more sheer than Supergoop anyways, so hopefully people can find a way to make them work, and I hope that the next 4 shades will come very soon. On my face today, I'm going to use the shade Sand, and I'll show you on the back of my hand really quickly. You'll see that it is darker and a bit more yellow than my skin tone, but it is a pretty good match for me in the summertime. It's not a full coverage product like the Supergoop CC cream is. And just to save you guys time, I'm going to talk through the demo as I'm doing it. I don't want this to be like a 20-minute video because Lord knows I can talk a lot. But what I like about this is that it's a perfect in-between of the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue and the Supergoop CC Cream. And the reason I like that is because I find that the Supergoop CC Cream is just too full coverage for me. It does look quite heavy on my skin, and you can just tell it looks very makeup-y. And so I tend to only reach for that when I want a full coverage look. Likewise, the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue is very, very light coverage. And I find that the Moi Tinted Moisturizer is a literal perfect baby brainchild of those 2 formulas. So it gives me that kind of like sheerness that I like from the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, but it has the buildability of the Supergoop CC cream. So I'm really loving the coverage on this. I saw some reviews that said it's not very, it doesn't have much coverage, but I just have to personally disagree with that. I think that the coverage is really nice, and you can see that I have some hormonal breakouts right now, and that's actually probably a good thing for the purpose of the demo. I'll move in a little bit more so you can see. I feel like you can see it covered that big freckle patch pretty nicely, but you can still see it a little bit. And as far as the breakouts, yeah, I would say that's a pretty light to medium buildable coverage. I would still want to use a concealer over these, but I feel like it evened out my skin tone really nicely. I specifically use this shade because it's just a little bit darker than my normal skin tone, And I really like that in a complexion product that's buildable. Okay, there you have it. Since I've been testing this out for a month, I'm not at all surprised by the way that it looks. It is, it's darker than my skin tone, so it definitely added a bit of a bronzy glow. But it's not oily by any means. It's glowy, definitely more of like a dewy, glowy product, but it's not as glowy and dewy as the Supergoop CC cream. And I'll compare those on the back of my hand so you can see the different textures. But I just really love the way that this feels. It has 13% zinc oxide, it has glycerin, it has aloe vera, which my skin loves, and it has some antioxidants. I think they mentioned like strawberry and kiwi extracts provide antioxidants, and 13% zinc is pretty great. In the DMs from Moi, they did say that the reason there are only 4 shades was because it's very difficult to formulate with zinc oxide, specifically for deeper skin tones, I believe. But I'm not a cosmetic chemist, so, take that with a grain of salt, take that as you will. It does not feel as heavy as the Supergoop CC cream, but it's not quite as light as the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. It's really somewhere in between, it's like that perfect little love child of the two of those products. It's also very affordable. Where did it go? The Moi Tinted Moisturizer is only $16, whereas the Supergoop CC cream is $36 and has an even worse shade range. So Supergoop, see you later. The Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, on the other hand, has a ton of shades, and because it's the most sheer, it's gonna work for a wider variety of skin tones. But the texture of the Moi one is definitely in between those two products. I feel like it's very lightweight. It doesn't feel too makeup-y on my skin. I definitely do find that throughout the day I need to powder my T-zone a little bit, which is the same as all of my other tinted moisturizers. But, this is just kind of my perfect base. I've really been loving it. So yeah, this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna compare the different shades and textures. All right, this is the tinted moisturizer with a full face. I did powder a little bit throughout my T-zone because that's just what I always do. I get quite oily throughout the day there. But yeah, I think it looks really amazing. So now let's compare the shades. These are the 4 shades. We have Ivory, Sand, which is the one I'm wearing, Honey, and Cocoa. You can see they are quite dewy on my hand, and with such a thick layer like that, they look quite full coverage. But blended out, it's light medium. When I was going back and forth with Moi about the shade range, they said, because they are so affordable, you could get 2 of these for less than the price of one Supergoop CC cream, and maybe consumers could mix the shades together. I don't really love a brand telling consumers to do that, to buy 2 products to make it work for them. But, they're not wrong. Theoretically, you could mix these for less than the price of a Supergoop. But hopefully the next 4 shades are going to include ones that are much darker than Cocoa, and hopefully one that's lighter than Ivory as well, because looking at Ivory, I do know a few people who are lighter than that shade, and I certainly know a few people who are darker than Cocoa. So now let's compare the textures of the other products. So before I blend these out, I just wanted to show you the texture differences. This is the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue in the shade Natural. It has much more of like a gel mousse texture that's extremely lightweight and very hydrating. Here you can see the Moi Tinted Moisturizer in Sand, which is, a little bit dewy and thicker than Bare Minerals, but thinner than the Supergoop CC cream in the shade Light. And now I'll blend them out for you. So you've got the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue here, the Moi Tinted Moisturizer here, and the Supergoop CC cream here. One thing I'll say about the 3 of these is that the Supergoop actually oxidizes a little bit, which I didn't realize until putting it on my hands and letting it sit compared to the others. You can see that the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, as I turn my hand, is a little bit less glossy than the other 2. So this one definitely has that like gel mousse texture that is very hydrating. but not quite as dewy as the other two. And it has a little bit more pink undertones to it, whereas C'est Moi Sand definitely has some yellow to it. And then the last one here is Supergoop Light. And it's funny because that actually oxidized quite a bit. But just looking at the texture differences, the Supergoop CC cream, I don't know if you can see, but it's like very much a lot thicker and a lot tackier and heavier on the skin than the other two. The C'est Moi, you can see just like slides right down, not as tacky, not as sticky, definitely feels a little bit more lightweight, but still quite dewy. And then the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue is the lightest and feels very light and moussey. But all in all, I love all three of these products, but it just totally depends on your price point, your shade, and also what coverage you like. I'm not going to do a wear test today because I just simply don't have time. I'm filming this at like 5 p.m. But I can confirm that this wears incredibly well. I would say with my Complexion Rescue, because it's the sheerest coverage, it tends to kind of, break down at the end of the day and doesn't look like I'm wearing as much makeup as when I first apply it. But with the Supergoop CC cream and with the C'est Moi Tinted Moisturizer, because these have more coverage, I think that they have better lasting power. But honestly, out of all three, C'est Moi wins for me. I just find that on my day-to-day, I prefer a little bit more coverage than the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue, and I prefer a little less coverage than the Supergoop. I just find that because of the price of this, the great ingredients, the 13% zinc, that this is just really fantastic. This would be a 100% 10 out of 10 if it weren't for the 4 shades. I'm so bummed about the shade range because inclusivity is increasingly more and more important and is increasingly a topic that's more at the forefront of our conversations. And I'm glad on one hand that C'est Moi acknowledges that and they already had 4 more shades coming down the pipeline. I just wish they had waited to release all 8 shades at once. And then I think people would have been happier, and then I would have felt a little bit more comfortable recommending this. Because regardless, 8 shades for a complexion line still isn't good enough. But if you can find a shade in this, I highly recommend it. And I just continue to be really impressed by everything that C'est Moi puts out. One thing I'll say is that I feel like, and I think I remember reading somewhere that C'est Moi caters to younger consumers, like more Gen Z consumers that are into clean beauty. So it makes sense that the packaging is quite like young and a little bit more, like young and playful and inexpensive looking, if I'm being honest. I think that's going to prevent some people from buying their products, which is really unfortunate because the makeup wipes, the cleansing water, the gloss, and the Visionary crayons are some of the best products that I have ever tried. C'est Moi really continues to blow me away. I just wish that they had packaging that was like a little bit more luxe. All in all, the product is absolutely incredible. Thank you, C'est Moi, for sending these over to me. I hope that this review was helpful. I know this was kind of all over the place. It was my first time filming in like 3 weeks, so just getting back into the swing of things a little bit. But if you have any questions, I will happily answer them in the comments below. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.